Recently assembled squad of plucky misfits. Clash is an opportunity to play as a team and experience tournament-style play, along with all the glory that comes with it. Before we get started, our question of the day is, what are you naming your Clash team? Mine is Big Ming Dynasty. You know, we won our bracket last Clash, we're kind of a big deal, maybe you've heard of us, and be sure to let us know your team name in the comment section so we can look out for you on the leaderboards. Before we get started with the video, are you guys getting ganked in your own lane? Constantly demolished? Don't worry, we got you covered. Pro Guides is the #1 proven way to quickly help you level up your League of Legends skills. Whether you're looking for tier lists, champion guides, coaching, or courses from your favorite pro players, Pro Guides is where you'll find them. Even players like Nightblue, Bunny Fufu, and Loco Doco support Pro Guides. So what are you waiting for? Click the link to start improving. Alright, let's get into it. The beauty of Clash is that you can talk with your team beforehand to develop a plan. Think about your collective strengths and weaknesses as players and decide how you can best make those qualities work for each other. Come up with a few team comps with clearly outlined win conditions. If you have a strong top laner who's adept at stomping lane, you might want to draft a split push comp to capitalize on that advantage and slowly choke your enemy out of objectives. Maybe instead your ADC is Double Shift Junior and you want to play a protect the ADC comp, keeping them safe from all the big scary enemies while they rain down DPS and dominate fights. Or perhaps you just want to unite as 5 and draft the most devastating wombo combo the field of wombology has ever seen, leaving a crater where the enemy team once stood. All of these are valid plans, but remember that the best plan is the one that you can execute. So keep it simple and straightforward. Discuss your objectives before the game starts and make sure everyone's on the same page, because the more unified your team is, the better your chances are. On a similar note, tip number 2 is to expand your champion pool. Clash is a good opportunity to broaden your horizons. Whether you're a tank player who's too thick to die, an enchanter devoted to saving your team, or an assassin player bent on studying the blade, this is an especially crucial tip for any one-trick ponies out there. You will be targeted in the ban phase, so you need to develop an additional pick or two that you can fall back on. Being able to switch things up is invaluable in Clash, and learning just one champion outside of your normal skill set can free up your team to employ a new set of strategies. Study the meta, see what's OP right now, and try your hand at it. Maybe it'll work for you and give you an extra edge. Taking this one step further, learning how to play champions that your teammates can also play will let you dominate the draft. Flexing champions between roles like this is a common tactic to bait out enemy picks, and grants your team the ability to sneak in some easy counter picks. For example, you could hover Ornn. They would probably assume it's top lane and counterpick with Singed. But bad news, kiddo, that's Ornn jungle now, and you're gonna counterpick that Singed with Kayle or Kennen. Boom, flexed on. They pick Olaf to take advantage of Ornn's slow jungle clear? Sorry champ, we just got word that it's now Ornn support and you're now counterpicked by our shiny new Trundle pick. Boom, flexed on. Braum support to counter? Nah, that's Ornn mid now. Flexed on. And yes, that is viable. The point is, aside from my crippling and bottomless desire to see Ornn nerfs, games can be won and lost in the drafting phase. So the more tools you and your teammates can bring to the table, the better equipped you are to adapt to different situations and crush your bracket. Which brings us to Clash tip number 3. Do your research. Clash shows you the members of the opposing team along with their highest champion masteries and what champion they played in their previous match. As I said, games are won and lost in draft, and if you have your game plan, you need to utilize your bans to the fullest. Are they abusing an OP champion that you can't play? Banned. Does the enemy team have a one-trick player? Nope, that's a no-trick because it's banned. Do they have one player who's the obvious carry? All their best champs? Banned. If there's no obvious choice like that, think about the game plan for your team and ban whatever champs the enemy plays that interfere with that. If you're looking to scale into teamfights, banning strong early game champions is a good idea. If your goal is teamfighting, then banning split pushing champions can stop them from dividing you. Give their stats the same amount of attention you'd give your crush's summer photo album and you'll be fine. Choosing the right bans and adapting your strategy is pivotal to any victory. Clash tip number 4 is communication. If you've ever listened to the comms in a pro game, you know they talk about everything they see. The moment they see the enemy jungler show up, they tell their teammates. If the position of the wave is changing, they tell their jungler so they can act accordingly. They call out targets in team fights, they track summoner spells and ult cooldowns together, they discuss rotations, they share every single piece of useful information, and so should you. More knowledge means better decision making, and being able to make informed choices can be the difference between getting Baron or getting aced. A key part of obtaining this information, however, is warding. Tracking the enemy jungler is invaluable in Clash, and placing deep wards enables you to do that. Anytime the jungler shows up on the map, ping them and say something to your team so they know to either play safe or help you hunt them down. Whatever you decide to do, the most important thing is that you decide to do it as a team. Move together, choose together, and win together. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Clash tip number 5. Stay calm. Playing in a competitive format is incredibly fun, but it's fun because you're so emotionally invested in winning as a team. While that makes the good times that much better, it's easy to also let the bad times be that much worse. You have to be mentally resilient. In an ideal world, you and your chosen allies would stomp every game and use your amazing power of friendship to achieve a squeaky clean victory. This isn't that world though, and things won't always go so perfectly. I've seen way too many teams fall apart in the middle of a game and turn on each other in all chat. It's hard to watch, and I can only imagine it's even harder to be a part of. Everyone on your team is human, including you, and misplays are bound to happen. You can't control everything, but you can control your reaction to these moments. When your teammate is beating themselves up over a play that went bad, be understanding. Be the one on your team to help them brush it off. When morale is low, be the one raising spirits and making a plan to get back into the game. Every team needs that person who keeps the squad up when things get tough. Besides, you and your team might not be perfect, but neither is your enemy. And if you stay sharp, you might be able to find your way back into the game. So keep your chill, keep focused, and keep your eyes on the enemy nexus. Emotions are temporary, comrades, but Clash victory is eternal. At least until the next Clash, you know. Clash tip number 6 is to know your limit. I know, we're all challenger in our hearts, but you can't always be the carry. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your team is the simple act of not dying. While Clash usually is kinda sorta loosely relatively balanced-ish, sometimes you'll find yourself matched against a player a full division higher than you. While these moments are intimidating, they're far from impossible to handle. The mistake most players make in this situation is that they view it as a chance to tighten their anime headbands and be the hero. They make an overzealous play that almost works but ends in their death. And that small lead can sometimes be all the other guy needs to steamroll the rest of the game. Self-control is key here, and you have to walk the fine line between playing safe, but not so safe that you end up laning phase 50 CS and 2 levels down. Sooner or later, they'll get cocky or bored and overreach their ability to force a play on you. Boredom is a form of CC, you just have to wait. That's when you punish them and take control. An unbelievable number of games are won by players who simply stonewall a superior player in lane, then use their champion to impact the map and help their team. When you encounter this in the scouting phase of Clash, make a plan with your team about how to handle this threat. There are 2 approaches here. Either you and your jungler work together to 2v1 and win the lane, or you focus on neutralizing the lane so your jungler can create leads elsewhere. It's always fun to be the carry, of course, but learning how to make yourself carryable in dire situations is important, and trust me, your team will thank you for holding things down. Clash tip number 7 is simple, but essential. Practice up. After all, what is a team if not the sum of all its parts? Use the time leading up to Clash as a chance to polish your skills, identify your weaknesses, and practice with the intent of getting better. An important note here, and kind of a hot take, but don't confuse grinding solo queue games for legitimate practice. At the end of the day, your rank isn't as important as your skill. Churning out solo queue games just to go up a division won't magically make you a better player just because you have a shiny new badge. Climbing comes from improvement, so focus on that and become the most reliable player you can be for your team. Speaking of which, practice with your team whenever possible. Developing a good feeling for how your teammates play and how well you all work together is vital for success. Use these group practices to identify how you tend to win and how you tend to lose. Then figure out how you can play around those things together. Work on your rotations, work on your comms, work on your vision. Practice, practice, practice. As with all things, patience is key. Don't expect dramatic improvement from you or your team overnight. It's a process, but if you keep at it and work hard, especially as a unit, you'll see big results. You're working together now, and your ability to support each other in and out of the rift will take you way further than you might think. On that lucky 7th note, we're going to conclude this video. We hope it was helpful, and once again, thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. Make sure to check out ProGuides.com as well as our YouTube channel for more informational content to help you improve and polish up your gameplay. Until next time, best of luck in your Clash brackets. Now go forth and conquer! Unless you're against me.